Hey, Mitch.
Oh, hi, Ed. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm so excited. We're talking about 1985's King Solomon's Mines. I love that movie.
Yeah, so did I. I wish there was just some more merchandise about the movie, though.
Well, actually, in Australia, there was a stack of, those Richard Chamberlain action figures, and I've actually got something
Really?
for you. Yeah, it should arrive at your place any minute now.
I got it right here in this box. I haven't opened it yet. You want me
Yeah,
to
well,
look it up?
open it up. It's King Solomon's mine.
Mine?
Yeah, he's mine. Hey, you don't have any metal around you, do you?
Well, just the plate in my head.
Uh, let's just start the show. Hi, this is Ed Dollister,
This is Mitch Halleck.
and welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. If it's your first time here, thanks so much for joining us. If you are a regular viewer, thanks for stopping by again. Hey, Mitch, how can you find out a little bit about what we do here at Mitch and Ed's?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as gathering a shoestring budget, going on location to Malaysia, and filming one of the biggest ripoffs of Raiders of the Lost Ark that I have personally witnessed. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button below, and you too can go on an adventure with me and Ed into the past to watch movies, TV, talk about toys, and a lot more right here on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the Mitch and Ed show. It makes us feel all great. Where are we going today, Ed?
We're going actually not to Malaysia, but to Zimbabwe.
Oh,
Because it
sorry.
was no, that's okay. It was actually filmed on location in Africa, and we're going to Cannons and the Golden Globus production of King Solomon's Mines. And we'll talk a little bit about Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. Of course, we just lost one of the classic movie and TV stars, Richard Chamberlain, who is the king of the miniseries. Of course, he starred in, Dr. Kildare, I suppose, is what he was best
Well,
known for.
Thornbirds, which is where I
Thornbirds,
first fell in love with
yeah,
Australia and Rachel
yeah,
Ward.
yes.
And
Shogun,
Shogun with John Rhys Davies.
that's
Yes, that's
right.
where I
So
first saw him too. Yeah.
So after the, I suppose after his resurgence, being known as the king of the miniseries,
Yep.
he started to get some movie roles. He was in a great Peter Weir film as well, The Last Wave. That
Yes.
was an Australian movie,
Yeah.
and so they started to make a remake of King Solomon's Mines, which actually was released in 1985. They did the sequel back to back. Allan Quatermain, The Lost City of Gold, which came out 86, 87.
Yep.
And yeah, filmed on location. Sharon Stone in her first movie role. She had done television roles, but that was her first movie role. It had the wonderful John Rhys Davies. I did mention that when I interviewed him, but I think he sort of glossed over when he said that. Herbert Lom, who you might remember
Yes.
from the
Pink
Pink
Panther.
Panther as
Inspector.
Dreyfus. And it's
Yes.
directed by J. Lee Thompson, who directed
Right.
The Guns of Navarone.
Navarone. Yeah. And a
And
bunch
he
of other
also
movies.
directed Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, amongst other
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
great Jerry Goldsmith score, which people I don't know, mate, it's a bit cheesy, but the whole thing is it was done 100 years to the year of the original movie by
H. Rider. Yeah.
yeah, H. Rider Haggard, the original book, and it actually did really well. And I've got
Yeah.
the review here. So shall we have a quick review and see
Sure.
what Leonard Maltin? Oh my gosh, if I can find it now. Haggard's adventure yarn is updated for the Indiana Jones generation, but the results are unsuccessful. Cartoon characters and outlandish cliffhanger situations abound, but where's the charm? Followed by the sequel, shot simultaneously, Allan Quatermain and the Lost City of Gold. 1.5 stars. And while we're there, I may as well read Allan Quatermain's review as well. A follow-up to a 1985 version with the same stars. Chamberlain returns to Africa in search of his brother, who's been tracking a lost white tribe. Post-production patch-ups are all too obvious. Bomb. It's called. They've labeled it a bomb.
Not even a star?
Not even a star. It's a bomb. But let's talk a little bit about the first one quickly. Did you see King Solomon's Mines in the cinema?
No. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
No, I did not. In 1985, you know what? I knew it came out because there was a lot of Indiana Jones. We
Clones.
call them Indiana clones, actually, on the IndieCast. We did
Hmm.
a segment because there was also a movie called Firewalker, which was with
Yes.
Chuck Norris and I'm going to
Lou
say
Gossett Jr.
Lou Gossett Jr. There was a lot, and then on TV, of course, we had Tales of the Gold Monkey. We had Bring Him Back Alive. There was a lot of people trying to cash in on the Indiana Jones.
Romancing the Stone, I
Romancing the
suppose.
Stone, Jewel of the Nile. Yeah, I forgot about that one too. I did see this on VHS, which was a
Hmm.
big thing back in the day. And I think it ran on cable a lot too. But I got to tell you, and it's a personal thing, I love Richard Chamberlain. I think Richard Chamberlain was fantastic in
Hmm.
Shogun. He was amazing as the priest in Thornbirds. I mean, the guy was just a solid actor, gave great performances all the time. It's a
Yes.
shame he's no longer with us, so God rest his soul. But great actor regarding these movies, it's weird. I like them, but they're almost so cartoony. There's tons of action in them. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's literally it's more like Temple of Doom
Yes.
than Raiders of the Lost Ark because Temple of Doom was nonstop action, and this even ups it more than Temple of Doom. I mean, there's not a second of quietness on the
It just
screen.
goes from sequence. It
It
starts
goes
with
from sequence to
the rip
sequence.
off of the basket game to
Oh,
where
the
she's in
basket game to the
carpets.
train
You
chase to
know,
the under the train
yeah,
at
it's
the thing, and there's fights in it, and then they got that lava, which is like a sauna, and they got those really they do have cheesy effects. I'm not, for
yes.
1985, there's a lot of
And
post
it only cost
effects. But
like it was $11 million. It was,
wow,
but
that much. Huh.
well, yeah, but I've got to say, it actually they have a cast of thousands,
They
I
do.
I think the production design and costuming and sets and everything like that actually
Yeah.
makes it look really
Well,
quite
I was
good.
going to ask you about that because it wasn't Malaysia, it was Zimbabwe. Is that what you
Yes,
said? Yeah.
yes,
I knew it was on location, but they do go right into the city. That always remind me of Mos Espo, which was in the Phantom Menace, Star Wars. It
yes,
has
yes.
these gray, like honeycomb type of buildings. I don't know if it's made out of stucco. They had to build that. That I don't think that exists, right? That's
Hmm.
not real, is it?
I think that was, but it looked pretty convincing. You know, all that sort of stuff. I thought. I think, yeah, having something on location and not
Yeah,
in a backlot or
the
on a
studio.
studio,
Yeah, green screen. Yeah,
really added to the production value. And the film did pretty well.
yeah,
It hence they released a sequel, which didn't, and I think that even skipped a couple of countries where it just went straight to VHS.
right.
What helped it as well was the poster. Now the poster for
Yes,
both films and the person who did this poster also did Firewalker, and it was very
Drew Struzan.
Drew Struzan. In fact,
Yes,
a lot of people ask AI, and it says Drew Struzan did it. Struzan did not do it. Um,
no,
it's by an artist whose initials are JD. I reached out to Adam McDaniel, who is a poster expert,
yeah.
and
Does he know who it is?
he can't even find out. He asked some people, he doesn't even know who this artist is, but it's a great poster.
Might
And
be Paul Shipper. You never know.
it could be when he was
It was
7.
a 15. Yeah, I don't know how old he is, but yeah. No, I can't tell you. I watch it. I just rewatched it for this review last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad.
No.
It's not the greatest movie ever, but God knows it's not the worst movie ever. But you just watch it and it just, like I said, nonstop. The cast is great. Of course, you got John Rhys Davies in there who never does
Yes.
a bad job. And I mean, he's chewing up the scenery like it's bubble gum.
Oh
And
my
so,
gosh, is he ever? And he keeps
oh, and
coming
he
back and
loves it.
back and back.
Oh, geez, Louise, he's got scenes in there where there was a part at the end of the movie when he shoots the German army guys with a machine gun, and then he
Yes.
walks across them in a quicksand
Yes.
thing, like stepstones out of them. If I see him next time I see him, I'm like, what was going on in that set? Because and then Herbert Lom with his Victrola there, and he has to hear
Yes.
Wagner, and he has, I'm sick of it. Everybody is overacting.
Yes.
It makes our show look like Laurence Olivier, you know. But it's fun though. I can't tell you that. It's sometimes you see movies that are over the top and it's hard to watch, but this one, once you go with it. You're like, hey, okay, Richard Chamberlain's acting wacky, and Sharon Stone is gorgeous. Honestly, I was like, oh my God, that's Sharon Stone. She's so cute. And this is her first movie.
Yeah. She was apparently
And the
very
acting
difficult.
is
She was very
yeah.
difficult to work with, but
Oh, really? Because there's oh, well. Okay. I don't know where to start. There's the scene at the end where they're drowning and the alligator, and it looks like someone just took a fish tank and put a baby alligator in front of it, and they're like trying to avoid drowning, and they're
Yes.
gasping for air. And Quarter, she keeps saying his name, and I'm like, oh God. And he's like, I hate your corny jokes and whatever. And there's literally, you can tell the actors are dry as could be, not dry in their delivery, but physically dry. They're
Yes.
not getting wet at all. It's literally an aquarium. They're shooting through an aquarium or something right there. They're just trying to pretend they're underwater. They're not going to drown at
Well,
all.
okay.
But then
I
they are
think,
in the water.
look,
So
I think Richard Chamberlain lamented that the effects, the budget was not great,
lacking.
and
Yeah.
he was sold on um Herbert Lom doing the film,
Right. Yeah.
J Lee Thompson, this great British director, but he was 70 at the time and was sort of phoning it in. But and there was a lack of
Who was 70?
the director at the time.
Oh, I was going to say Richard Chamberlain was. He
No,
was like
no.
50s, I think, at this point.
But it was pretty, it was a pretty popular film when it
Yeah.
came out. The film, obviously we talked about the sequel. I just wanted to say they got James Earl Jones for the sequel,
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
which was pretty amazing. And he said he only agreed to do it because he wanted to go to Africa
Oh,
as a
and,
trip to
well, I was
Africa.
thinking John Rhys Davies probably did it, or because they just worked on Shogun together. He was
Well, that's
Rodrigo.
true, yeah.
Yeah, so they probably knew each other. So,
And
well.
in Allan Quatermain, The Lost City of Gold, there was Henry Silva, who you would recognize, who
Oh,
turns up
from
always as
Sharky's Machine, and yeah, a bunch of bad guys.
um,
Yeah.
Robert Donner. Now, do you know that name, Robert Donner?
Is he Richard Donner's brother?
I don't think so,
Oh,
but he played Schwammer, who was the spiritual guide. That
yeah.
was Exeter from Mork
Oh,
and
from Mork and
Mindy.
Mindy?
He turns up
Really?
in a lot of things. So
He's in a lot of
he was
stuff,
in
that guy.
Damnation Alley as well.
He
And
was in Damnation Alley. That's right. The funnier thing is too, it's like they have that sequence at the beginning of King Solomon's Mine where she's trying to track down her missing father,
yes,
and they go to like an antique shop and they find
yes,
the
like
assistant
Iman.
wrapped up like a mummy, and the guy, I guess he's pretended to be Middle Eastern, but it's Middle Eastern by way of Brooklyn. Because I'm like, there's no way. The cultural, what do you call it?
Appropriation.
Yeah, that was all over the place in this movie because there was people in
There
all
was.
kind of color skin makeup going
It was a
on.
different time back
It
then.
was
So we
yeah,
don't
40 years
condone it,
ago.
but it is of
No, but
its
I'm
time.
watching go, there's no way that guy is supposed to be that nationality. I
Well,
don't
we're
know
watching, you know what we're watching at the moment?
what.
Remo.
Oh, well, yeah, Chun with
But that, you know
Robert.
what? That makeup is incredible. We should
Oh
do
no,
that.
Joel Gray. He got nominated. Not he did, but the makeup artist got nominated for an award that
Yeah.
Oscar
But
nomination.
we'll have to do that for another show.
That's another
I was
story.
just going to say also,
like
for Allan Quatermain, The Lost City of Gold,
yeah.
the director
Yeah.
was you know who else was in it?
Who?
Cassandra Peterson,
As what?
Elvira.
In the sequel?
Yeah,
Oh, I know. Well, okay. I didn't. Okay,
she
I
was
didn't
one of
rewatch the
the
sequel.
evil one of Henry Silver's, the evil queen and everything like
Oh,
that.
I see. I see.
But
Okay.
that was
Whoa,
directed.
whoa, whoa! Go back. Is that before she was Elvira?
This was 85, 86. So I think
Elvira
she
was
was
about
Elvira
there.
late 80s. She was 87.
Yeah, it was about
88.
that time. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Huh.
but it was directed by Gary Nelson, who directed The Black Hole.
Oh, well, what do you know? So they don't have a lot of schleppy people working on these
No,
productions. You're
no,
right.
they
It's budget, and the writing is, very quick and
yep.
snazzy, and it's pun laden, unbelievable. I mean, some of the things that the German army will never do this, or he must say that if you took a
Yes,
drink every time he's mentioned the German army, you'd be drunk before
that's right.
the hour's up. It's only an hour and 40 minutes. It's not that long a
Yes.
movie,
And the second
so
one's even shorter because they
really.
had they had a lot of issues on there. But
Yes, yes.
but I reckon if King Solomon's Mines, and obviously there's a Stuart Granger one,
Oh yeah, with
which
Deborah
is the
Carr.
gold
Yeah,
standard,
yeah.
and
There's actually a one even predates that. Well, that's from the 50s.
that's
There's a
right.
King
Yes,
Solomon's Mines, I think in the late 20s or 30s
yes,
or something.
you're right.
Yeah.
And then of course they did the minis. There's a mini series with Patrick Swayze
That's right,
and
Patrick
Alison
Swayze and
Doody. I
Allison
think.
Doody from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yes.
So they like that. But I reckon if Indiana Jones didn't exist and this movie came out or came out before it, it would have been a probably a
Well,
blockbuster because people were not ready for that sort of action. Now
no.
people are just going,
Well,
but there's
you're missing the other Allan Quatermain connection to Indiana Jones.
what's that?
In the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Oh, of course,
Sean
Sean
Connery,
Connery,
last movie role, he played Allan
Alan
Quatermain.
Quatermain. That's
Yeah.
right.
So there you go. And
I
it's
do
all.
love that film actually. That's quite a
So think about it. You got Sala in this movie. You
yes,
got Allison Duty in the one with Patrick Swayze.
yes.
And then you've got Sean Connery in the League of Extraordinary. Alan Quatermain is like the gel that keeps the Indiana Jones universe
Absolutely right. And
together.
I'm sure without Alan Quatermain, we probably wouldn't have Indiana Jones. So,
No, not at all. Not at
and you
all.
know
But
what you
no,
wouldn't have without you and me, Mitch?
oh, probably a lot of free time in your hands, I'll tell you that. Uh
No, you wouldn't have a show. We
oh,
wouldn't have a
there's that.
show.
True. No, but I was gonna say before we wrap it up,
Okay,
like
yeah.
no, you're going that way. Was there a novelization? Was there a game? Was there a chewing gum cards?
So
Was there anything?
apart from your King Solomon mine, there was a novel. There was a novel which just sort of
Well,
had a photo of the Richard Chamberlain on it. So that was
yeah,
the
it was the
only
original book, right? They just republished it.
that was the only
Oh.
tie-in I could
What about the
find.
soundtrack? Jerry Goldsmith didn't put it
I
out.
think
Did
they
he?
released it on something like Entrada later on.
Oh, okay.
And because of budget cuts for the second movie, I
Yes,
can't remember they used they only used or they got a new composer to write maybe 30 minutes of music and they just reused the score
they
from
reused the other score.
but it is a really it's a good rollicking score. It's a bit
Yeah, it's kind of Raiders-ish, and
yeah.
that whole rug chase does look like the basket
Oh
chase
my gosh.
ran
But the
so much. I was
trains,
like, oh my God. And the train, those train tracks, give me a break. Those were not even real train tracks. It looked like a carpet.
I
And he's
know, but
fell back up.
HD, you can see a lot of things and
Oh, really?
but then
I
it goes
watched,
from that to a plane, which was like the flying wing sequence. And
yeah, I
it's like,
watched it on I watched it on YouTube. I wasn't paying too close, but I think it was like a good version of it. I don't know if it's 4K, but it was pretty clean.
well, yeah, I signed up. I had to sign up for Prime here in Australia
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
that and Allan Quatermain. So
Was it ever released on DVD? Oh, well,
there's a
4K
Blu-ray. Yeah, they
DVD?
released a
There's a
Blu-ray of
Blu-ray.
both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why
Uh,
did you say something with Sharon Stone being difficult on the production?
That from what I read in my research, she just went through, she brought her husband over and then they
Oh,
separated and she was just difficult to get on with. And apparently, anyway.
so nobody was romancing the Sharon Stone on set.
Well, I think people were, but
Oh, I set that
anyway.
up for a little
I know, sorry.
ruin my joke. But anyway, back to your story about
Oh,
if it wasn't for-
Quatermain, you and your stupid jokes.
you
Yes.
think you could do it for a nickel?
What's that? Oh,
Nothing. It's got to be a quarter. Now, listen, Ed, if it wasn't for you and I going back into the past talking about these cheesy movies, what could people do? Well, I'll tell you what they could do. I'm glad you asked. They could swallow, it's as easy as swallowing jewels like diamonds and
oh yes.
rubies and emeralds and one
I've
after
got
the
I've
other.
got a stack under my hat at the moment.
Of course you do. And then coming back from the dead countless times, even when you have been shot and rock slides, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button below. And you too, right there, you could go and watch me and Ed dress up like crazy people and go on adventures and watch my head explode right here on YouTube every time, every other week, every 2 weeks.
That's right.
Whatever,
And
whatever is on holiday.
that's
'Cause
true. So we might get another one done next week if that's all right, Mitch. So we'll see how we go wherever we go. But signing
That's
off. This is Ed Dollister.
This is Mitch Halleck.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.